you guys. How's it going? I hope everyone is doing well. My God. This past week was very busy. Honestly, I could use some sugar. Waffle cones. So, fortunately, my grandfather passed away last Saturday, and it really took a toll on all of us. He was like the head of the family, my dad's side, and there was a lot to process. I think that's just the natural order of things, and what I think why I wanted to even bring this up, because I debated whether it was even appropriate to talk about like such a personal event. I think the only reason I'd want to is to bring light to how tradition and culture and family make a huge difference. So last night I was just talking to one of my friends who's white, and I was telling him that we have a gathering like after a few days since the funeral, and then every 30 days, or not every, sorry, then 30 days later, there's we have another majlis, or like a kind of like a gathering, but more so on like in the context of religion. And he really admired it. Was like, that actually is such a good way of going about things, because like you get to check in with family and see how they're doing and how they're processing things, as opposed to just having the one and done funeral, and then you move forward with life. And that's so true. I think I'm so used to tradition and the culture of things that like I don't even recognize like some like what's unique about it and how it is beneficial. So it was just nice. And he's certainly right, because if it weren't for family, then I wouldn't have like been able to process the loss this well, and it gave space for me to, I guess like, just take in what happened and monitor how it affected me, as opposed to just immediately displaying my emotions and grief. There is that weird pressure too. I can't explain it, and certainly no one imposes that pressure in my family, but it's just a thing, But I guess because so many of my cousins were able to like take charge and like handle things, that like I felt like I was able to just kind of go through it calmly, and admire my grandfather, who he was, and the man he was, and how he led the family and stuff. There are things like that are worth taking note of. My dad said like two things about him with full certainty. One was he never lied, and the second one was he never borrowed money. He immigrated from Pakistan to America, and that's such a big deal. I'm sure there might have been smaller instances, of course, but like something significant, I don't think so. And like that's very, very commendable. And it, I guess when, of course, this is just no unique realization, but when someone passes, you then appreciate even more so who they were and the impact they have on other people's lives. And to even think that like, oh, I'm his blood, I'm his direct granddaughter, it meant something to me. So yeah, like I never knew how I would handle true grief. Luckily, I have family members who are alive and well. So, and the last death I encountered, I was so young that, there's not really much to compare to. But now, I just see how I do it, and I didn't expect myself to be this way. I thought I was the very, like, immediately responsive person, where, I become very aware of what's going on. I expected that. I expected like immediate crying, immediate grief, And while I did experience grief, the way it hit me was like it took time to process. Like we had the funeral Monday, and then Tuesday morning is when I truly just cried to my mom and dad, and I didn't want to. I didn't want to like burden them with more. Like it's just exhausting to cry so much, But they are my mommy and daddy, so I have all the right. Yeah, and I expressed to them my feelings, and even beyond just the tragedy itself, like what thoughts did I render from this, and feelings towards life. And of course, like, I talk about death often. I know I do, and in a very positive way. Like, it's with acceptance, it's with gratitude of being alive, but to actually witness it and then put it into perspective is a whole other ordeal where, I mean, a lot, there were some like spiraling thoughts, like, have I done enough? Should I be doing more? Have I made enough of this life? And like, I'm still sitting with those uncomfortable feelings. Like, am I productive enough? Am I going to achieve my dreams and all those good things? And like, that's a common theme in my life, but it was certainly amplified because of this event. So, anyway, if there's one thing I know about my grandfather, is that he is very hard-headed. He will get things done. If he wants it done, he will get it done. And I am his blood, so I will get everything I want in my life on my accord and with my merit. So, yeah. And then, of course, I did want to talk about, like, I've said it before in my other videos, that, like, it is so important to have community, family, to, everybody wants a village, but nobody wants to be a villager. And that you got to play the role, and the grand scheme of things, I've often pondered about, like anybody, the meaning of life, like our existence and why it is the way it is and stuff, and should I, like, cut all of my societal materialistic fetters and just, like, live on a fucking mountain and just meditate my life away, and like, it wouldn't even align with my natural instinct and nature, but nature. But I think about it, and really, just in the grand scheme, I like to believe that those of us that are, introduced to this era, or born in this era and this civilization, is it, like any other life, is with intention. Like, I was born to be. I was born with intention. God, why can't I simplify it? Like, it was intentional for me to, be here. And so, anyway, in this time and era, right? And so that's my point, is that, like, with where I am and how I have. Whoa, why do I suck at making my point here? Like, I was born here in America, 1998, okay? The concept of civilization is very prevalent, right? So that's my fucking point. And so like, you are essentially a villager. You have to play that role, is what I'm saying. You gotta play that role because we need a village and we need that community. And it was because of my community, being my family, and honestly some friends, I processed this event very well, better than I expected. I cried, I, like, grieved, I admired, I thought about the past of that person, and put it in relation to now and the future, and, like, I truly think, like, not to boast, but, like, I feel like this is the way to do it, and this is a good way of going about things. So, yeah, I mean, I figured it was worth sharing. I don't know, like, I certainly I wouldn't want to take advantage of a death in the family just as a topic on YouTube, like, that's beneath me, but I figured it was worth discussing because of the familial relationships, the support and love and communication, and, like, for us to just, like, constantly, like, see our thoughts and feelings in a group chat even just, like, meant so much, and for us to come together and share memories and laugh and honor my grandfather, like, that was so nice. It helped. So, yeah, that was pretty much it. Other than that, I gotta go. I gotta kind of get back into the grind, and I did start yesterday. I edited my book. I gotta give, honestly, it's such a shame. Like, I love writing, hate editing, so it takes me 2 hours for 10 pages. It's stupid. But I have to get it done. So I gotta do that. I gotta go to Sephora because I gotta get my lip gloss. It's run out. Summer Fridays, brown sugar. whatever. Anyway, yeah, but really gotta get back into the grind. I have like meetings to take on Monday. I took 3 meetings yesterday, and then gotta work on that mockumentary with my cousin. So that is very exciting work. Yeah, super creative, super fun. And not really much left with my script. Maybe little tweaks here and there. Gotta respond to some emails. Gotta send out some emails, which that also gives me stress because it's so tedious. But that's about it, guys. Really. I will talk to you later. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, evening, rest of your week. And bye. Okay, bye.